try to create a background in Illustrator that is a gradient background with stars. Um, so I'm going to take just um, the rectangle tool, and I'm just going to start with a basic square background, or just covering the entire image all the way to the bleed lines. Now I can come into my gradient panel and apply a specific gradient. I can make it radial, I can make it um, so a radial, linear, or this custom gradient, which it's taking a little bit for it to morph to. So I think for sky, typically it would be a linear gradient. So I'm going to switch this so it is 90 degrees. Now this is just a default black and white gradient that only has two stops. So it has a white color, it has a white stop and a black stop, and then it has the gradient location point, which changes where, like, and how quickly it transitions from black to white. The closer it gets to the white, the more quickly, the more black it has, and the more quickly it transitions from black to white. And if I, and just conversely, if I do this and I move that point, the white point closer to the black, it's gonna have very little black, and it's gonna transition very quickly from that white to light gray to this little narrow edge of black. So I want to change this to maybe having a few new colors. So if I hover underneath this line, you'll see that I get the arrow has a little plus mark next to it. So I can click on that and add a new stop, which allows me to add another color. So I'm going to double click here, and right now it's just showing me like my mixer, and it's just showing me black and white because it thinks that that's what I want to do. So I'm going to actually choose, and it's a little tricky with this if you don't have your, oops, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to double click on that again. And I'm just going to give it a base color of blue. Now, once I have that base color, I can then go into my color mixer and I can mix that color differently. So I might want to put in a nice dark navy color, and actually I have too many stops right now, so I'm going to alter that in a second. So I'm going to click back here, and this one, I'm actually just going to drag it over, and then I'm going to pull this white one off. So I have that, and then I'm going to double click over here, and I'm going to go back and choose another one, another blue color. I don't love that blue color. It has a little bit too much purple into it. So I'm going to start modifying this color as well. Let's see if I can get a nice deep desaturated color. And I'm going to modify this blue as well. So I want to get a little bit more of a turquoise feel to it, maybe a little bit more brightness. Now I can add more colors if I want to, definitely do that, and then I can modify that. Now, if I'm in the gradient tool, which I'm showing I am right now, so if I go to my toolbar and I click on the gradient tool, I can then also move this around. I can change, if I hover on the base of it near the main point, I can actually rotate it so it transitions. I can also stretch this so it's bigger, and elongate it so it's a more gradual gradient, and then also moving those stops around, so I get a nice even transition. Maybe I want to move these further away. I just kind of move things around here. So I get the gradient that I'm looking for in the horizon line. So, but maybe that gradient is not what I want. Maybe it is a radial gradient and I'm pulling this out. Maybe I delete these guys. I do something like like that. So more actually pretty simple gradient, but one that, so with the radial gradient, I can actually change the shape of it. So I can make it more of an ellipse rather than a circle. I can still increase the size of it. So maybe I want to do that for the sky, just because oftentimes skies will have that. Now, I want to lock this background because I don't really want it to move around on me. So I'm going to go ahead and lock it. Now, I can make stars in different ways. I can certainly use my star tool and I can make my star. And remember, I can hold while I'm depressing the mouse. I can increase my points by hitting the up arrow or decrease my points by hitting the down arrow. I also can hold the command key down and I can make my points really long, but holding the interior point. So I'm just extending the arms of the star and nothing else. So I'm gonna make a star that looks like this. And then it's pretty big, so I don't really want my star to be that size. So I'm gonna make it small. And again, I'm gonna hold the shift key down so I can strain the proportions. And then maybe I just make that star fill with a kind of a soft white color. Now, I can easily copy this star over and over again just by hitting the Alt key and dragging. But there might be a better way to do this by creating a symbol. So I'm going to create a custom symbol. I'm going to open my symbols panel, which is here. If that's not open, remember everything is in alphabetical order under window, and you can click on the symbols panel and it will open. Now to create a new symbol, all I have to do is create the shape and then drag that shape into the symbol. So now I have a new symbol that I named star. Um, and now this is, you can see the icons changed a little bit and it is now a symbol. So I can open this symbol sprayer and I'm gonna actually click here. And again, if you're not seeing this, might not come up with your advanced toolbar. So make sure that you have under window toolbar advanced, because I don't think that the symbol sprayer comes up with that. So here I am. I'm gonna click on the symbol sprayer and I'm gonna, because there's so many tools that go along with the symbol sprayer that are underneath it, you're gonna wanna reuse. You're gonna more than likely use with the symbol sprayer. I'm gonna go ahead and click on this little line out here. So you can see the teeny little triangle, and then this, when I hover over it, there's a dark bar. If I click on that, it's gonna bring out a tear sheet. So with my symbols selected, I have the symbol sprayer tool depressed, and all it's going to do is it's going to just kind of spray that symbol, and it's going to create a symbol set that's much like a group. So the thing that's problematic about this is that the symbols set, and if we look in our layers palette, that it shows as a symbol set. It does not show as any individual um, any individual object on here. That's all kind of seen as one object. They're just in symbols, individual. There are no individual objects. It is just a symbol set. Everything is seen as one whole object. So what I can do here is I can still modify this. So I can move and shift. So this is the symbol shifter. I can move these around, or I can hold down the Alt key with the symbol shifter and it can bring things together. So it's going to either move them away or pull them closer together. Now the symbol scruncher is going to scrunch. If I hold the Alt key down, it's going to spread them apart. Or if I just hold it down, it's going to bring everything closer together. Now, the other thing is the sizer. So if I hold this down, it will increase the size of it, or I can hold the Alt key and it will, oops, I need to have my symbol set. I can hold the Alt key down and it's going to make them all smaller. So if I hold it down and I can make it all smaller. Pull these together. So, and I can push some of these back in, try to pull them, oops, back into the page. So it's looking a little bit more organic and natural. And you can also rotate. Now, obviously, with circular things that are symmetrical or symmetrical things, it doesn't really matter which way they're pointed because it's, maybe nuanced of which way that which stars points are pointed at, but that's it. The other thing that you might want to look up is a symbol stainer. So I could pick a color that I want to stain these with, and I could paint this on. And you can also screen them so they look like they're falling back into space a little bit, but then you can also bring them back by holding the Alt key down. So whatever you do, it can be modified the opposite way using the Alt key. So if it's making it bigger with holding it down and then you hold down the Alt key, it'll make it smaller, vice versa. If it's making it more opaque, less opaque, when you hold the Alt key down. And then lastly, this is a simple styler. This one's a little bit more complex. You have to choose a graphic style. So we're not going to work with that one right now. But I'm just going to add a little bit of color here with my stainer, which you're not seeing too much of since it's kind of blend. I also have it blending in the background. So this one's a little bit too bright, so I'm gonna bring that one down. And then maybe some of these that are more central, I'm gonna hold the Alt key down and see if I can bring those back up. And so I have a nice starry background just using symbols. Now, let's say I really wanted to individually affect these different symbols. I can break them from the symbol set by clicking expand. And now you'll notice that I have all these individual shapes that I can then get move around. And again, it's a group. So how I would ungroup that if I wanted to get to these individual pieces is either select that individual object via the layers panel, or I can just simply ungroup this. So go to object, ungroup, or shift command G and then now I no longer have a group and I can just move these individual shapes around. But the symbol symbol sprayer are great tools to use. They're another one of those things that I think are incredibly time efficient. But certainly I do think the use of the groups is important. Now, the other thing that you may want to look at with stars, and I don't know if this is the aesthetic that you're going for, But if I do have these all grouped, I can apply an effect of an outer glow that might make a little bit more of an ethereal look. So if I go and have my group selected, I can go to stylize outer glow, and I can apply an outer glow. So this is a 75% screen. Um, and I can affect it by the blur, the amount, and this is black. This is a black screen, so that means that it's actually doing the opposite. It's like a negative. So, and it's set to 75%. I can increase or decrease that, and the blur is the amount off the edge of the of the edge of the path that it's showing. So I might want it more or less. I think I might want it a little less. And I click OK. Just keep in mind that all of these effects can actually slow down the rendering of of your your processing in Illustrator. So sometimes even if I want to keep my effects, I sometimes will turn them off. So I have this one all set. I could turn off outer glow if I notice that something is slowing down. And then before I export it, I can always come back in here and turn it back on because it's just a setting that is remembered by Illustrator. So that is just one way that you can create a starry background.